There are so many great phones available right now. It can be hard to navigate the landscape and find what is right for you. Today on ECHOtech, I will look at the big four phone companies that I believe are here to stay and will be duking it out for years to come. 3 are pretty obvious and 1 might be a little surprising. I'll take a look at their current and upcoming flagship phones and help you sort through all the data. Alright, the iPhone 10 should have been called the iPhone X, but I guess we can live with iPhone 10. Pre-orders will begin October 27th, and the phone will begin to ship on November 3rd. Supplies will be extremely limited, which means don't expect to actually get one until sometime next year. There's been a lot of hype about this phone, so let's break down the specs. Looks like Apple finally went OLED, which is great. Much better screen resolution. This phone packs a serious punch with a Super Retina True Tone display. This screen is a much needed upgrade over the iPhone 7 and 7 Plus, which was really beginning to look dated with its LCD display. Moving on, the A11 Bionic chip. Sounds awesome, right? Well, it kind of is. These benchmark scores have the iPhone X smoking all the competition. The Note 8 is not on here, but you can probably expect it to be on the same ballpark as the Galaxy S8 Plus. These numbers seem too good to be true, and we will continue to monitor these benchmark scores once the phone is actually released. External buttons and connectors are pretty straightforward, but you will notice there is no home button, which means no fingerprint. How do you lock this phone, besides the standard 4 to 6 digit PIN? Well, you look at it. The iPhone X uses face recognition. If you lived under a rock and just watched the keynote address, you would think that Apple invented face recognition. Unfortunately for them, the entire line of Samsung Galaxy phones has facial recognition and iris scanning. Supposedly the Apple facial recognition, or Face ID as they call it, will be more advanced. We will just have to wait and see. Oh, and still no headphone jack. Alright, and then the camera. That seems to be what everybody's interested in phones lately. The camera has a 12 megapixel dual lens with wide and telephoto lenses. Portrait mode is still here, along with brand spanking new portrait lighting mode, which is pretty exciting. It's still in beta though, so expect it to get better and better. This camera is not a major upgrade for iPhone 7 or 7 Plus. The major advantage this phone has is the ability to shoot 4K 60 frames per second, which is not in the Galaxy Note 8 right now, but supposedly a software upgrade is on the way. So we'll have to wait and see on that. But that's the big selling point for the camera is 4K at 60 frames per second. Well, with every new iPhone comes a new iOS. Now we have iOS 11 on iPhone 8, iPhone 8 Plus, and iPhone 10 or iPhone X as I like to call it. Lots of different numbers associated to one release, but let's move on from that. iOS 11 brings you design changes, Siri updates, messaging updates, and everyone's favorite, Animojis. Animojis will only be available on iPhone X. Here is what you get in the box. You would think for $1,000 they could have thrown in some AirPods. At least Samsung gives you $99 earbuds. Come on, Apple, you took the headphone jack away, throw in some AirPods. Alright, full disclosure, I do own a Samsung Galaxy Note 8. Up until the release of the Note 8, I was a loyal iPhone user. I had every iPhone. Up until the iPhone 7 Plus, I even had the iPhone 1. I'll try to make my video as unbiased as possible, and I see a lot of things about the iPhone 10, or the iPhone X as I like to call it, that I like. but I think the Note 8 is the best smartphone you can get right now. So let's talk a little bit more about the Note 8. Unlike the iPhone X, the Galaxy Note 8 is available now. I pre-ordered mine in August. The release date was September 15th. This time around, Samsung shipped out pre-orders super early. I got mine nearly 2 weeks early, which was awesome. But let's take a look under the hood. The display, the display, the display. The Infinity Display has to be experienced for you to truly understand how great it is. The specs are not night and day from the iPhone X, but the display on the Note 8 is superior to that of the iPhone X. Plus, this phone is rocking 6 GB of RAM. There's been no official word on how much RAM the iPhone X has, but initial reports suggest 3 or 4 gigs of RAM. The camera on the Note 8 is similar to the iPhone X, with the dual wide and telephoto lenses. This is the best camera on an Android device currently available. While iPhone X has portrait mode, the Note 8 has live focus, which is basically the same thing, but with the Note 8 you can adjust the background blur after a photo is taken. Of course, the Note 8 and all previous Note models have the S Pen included. This is a great tool for jotting down a quick note or using your Note 8 as a creative device. The iPhone killer, the Samsung killer, it's the Google Pixel series of phones. The Google Pixel 2 is slated to be announced on October 4th. While I don't think the Pixel 2 will be the phone that dethrones Samsung or Apple, I do think that Pixel 3 or the Pixel 4 could do this. Let's take a look at some specs. Do these specs jump off the page? No, they don't. But Google makes this phone, and Google also makes Android. All of their new Pixel phones come with a brand new Android operating system. This one comes with a brand new Android Oreo. I look for in the future the Pixel 3 or the Pixel 4 to really gain momentum. Well, at this point you'd probably expect me to move on to the new LG phone, but no, I'm not going to do that. Or you'd expect me to move on to the new Motorola phone. I'm not going to do that either. The next phone I'm going to pick is the Essential phone. Why the Essential phone? Because it was invented by this guy. Who is this guy? He was the guy that invented this. So, his name is Andy Rubin, and he also worked for Apple and Google. This is very much a launch phone. It is the very first phone in its infancy, but it's already, spec-wise, up there with the other big three we had mentioned previously. I look for this phone to get better and better, especially with such a great founder as Andy Rubin. So this is the phone you need to watch and keep your eye on, because I see this company taking off in the coming years. Thank you for watching today. Don't forget to hit subscribe, and later this week I'll be posting an unboxing video for the new 10.5-inch iPad Pro, and then we're also going to be talking about the new Pixel tablet from Google very soon. See you later.